Chapter 3. Chapter 3, legal concerns and insurance issues. Here we go. Liability. What kind of insurance do you absolutely have to have in order to drive a car? What kind of car insurance?
I don't have that.
Liability insurance. What's liability insurance? There's collision, there's PIP, protection, personal injury protection, but then there's liability insurance on your car. What does that pay for? So I'm driving my car, and I go over here, and it's my fault, and I hit her. I pay for hers. What about, will that insurance pay for mine? It won't either, right? So you have to have, at the absolute minimum, liability insurance. Because who is liable for the, I was. So liability, it's the state of being legally responsible for the harm one causes another person. The key word is legally. Okay? Who is legally responsible for the harm you cause another person or to a person's property? All right. Negligence. We've heard this. I tell you what, this is the thing about athletic trainers is that, and I just roll my eyes and I sigh like I do because there's so many in my profession or in Miss Bates' profession, in our profession, that think they are training room lawyers. Gosh, I get so tired of hearing people saying, "Well, you're going to be liable, and you'll be negligent," and they've never ever sat through a business law, let alone criminal law class, but they seem to have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. That's why there's lawyers. But negligent, just because you have this class is not going to make you a lawyer. Negligence, the failure to use ordinary or reasonable care. Care that persons would normally exercise to avoid injury to themselves or to others under similar circumstances. You need to know this, right? Because this is going to be a question that you need to write down. There's a deal, and what is it? Oh, it's negligence? Yes. Know that negligence is failure to use ordinary or reasonable care. All right? So, somebody comes in the training room and they've got a concussion, right? So they got a concussion, and I just go, got a headache. Is that ordinary care? I just send you home. You got a headache, go home. Got a headache, get over it. Put your helmet back on and get out there and play some more. Is that the same care, ordinary, reasonable care, that I would provide for me, to myself? No, probably not. So I'd be negligent in that case, wouldn't I? Here's the standard of reasonable care. All right? Reasonable care, standard of reasonable care assumes that you are, an individual, is neither exceptionally skilled nor extraordinarily cautious, but is a person of reasonable and ordinary prudence. So you come across a wreck. Guy ran somebody over on a bicycle, right? You see somebody there. You stop, right? Ordinary care. This guy's got a compound fracture of his arm, which means bone sticking out. Ordinary. So the standard of reasonable care, is that telling you, A, you need to put the bone back in the skin? Is that ordinary and reasonable care? No, it's not expecting you to be an orthopedic surgeon there on the side of the road. But it is maybe saying, put plenty of gauze around it and constantly keep it wrapped. All right? That's the difference between standard of reasonable care. That you're not an orthopedic surgeon, but yet at the same time, you're not a third grader. You know, ooh, it's awful. All right? That you do something to help. The athletic trainer who is licensed, certified, and is educated is expected to act in accordance with those qualifications. So, in an athletic realm, somebody comes over and they've had a concussion. Am I expected to act in a higher level of prudence than, say, a coach? Yeah, probably so. But that doesn't get the coach off the hook, because he should then know to refer to us. So the athletic trainer is expected to act as you were educated. All right, torts, not tarts, not Pop Tarts, but they're torts. All right, you ever hear tort reform? Okay, tort reform is for frivolous lawsuits. Torts, torts are legal wrongs committed against the person or the property of another. Very simple. That's all it is. That's a tort. All right, may result from an act of omission or an act of omission where a person fails to perform a legal duty. Torts may be in the form of an act of commission, where they do something that they're not supposed to do. Okay, either way. All right, so let's give you an example. All right, so here I am. I'm the district attorney for Montgomery County, and I want you to go to jail. So I plant evidence. That's commission. I did it. I planted evidence. Of course, it would never happen that a district attorney would ever do that. But I've committed a tort, a legal wrong. I am the DA of Dallas County, and I want you to go to jail. But there is that I know of. I know that there's evidence that clears you, but I don't tell anybody. I didn't do anything. Uh-oh. It's a tort of omission. I didn't do it. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. This works so well. Here's your boyfriend girlfriend situation. Got your boyfriend, all right? Your boyfriend goes out and he goes, he's your boyfriend, but he goes out with you on the weekend. That's commission. You know he went out with her because Instagram tells everything, because y'all can't keep off that stupid thing. Omission. All right? He doesn't do what he's supposed to do. All right? So he's still wrong. But those are torts. Negligence. We just talked about negligence, remember? Failure to use ordinary reasonable care. So let's talk about negligence again. It's alleged. When are you negligent? You're negligent when you do something that a reasonably prudent person would not do. All right? Or you fail to do something that a reasonably prudent person would do. All right. So there you go. There is somebody who is hurt in the middle of the road. Their car is on fire and it's 20 feet away. All right. What would the reasonably prudent person do? Try to help them, but how? Get them out of the way of the fire, right? Yeah. So you can be negligent for leaving them there. Okay. So that's by doing something that you would not do. A reasonably prudent person would not go over to that person in the road and say, "Oh, look, your knee's dislocated. Let's relocate it. Holy smokes, your head is a little crooked. Let's try and push it back." I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night. I know how to do it. Yeah. No. Huh? You've never seen that commercial? Oh, wow, you guys are great. You trainers are great. No, I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night. So I know it's crazy. All right, go watch Holiday Inn Express commercials. Examples of negligence: through improper or careless handling of a therapeutic agent, such as ultrasound. Ultrasound can actually burn you. It can actually damage your nerve tissue. It can burn your muscle tissue. And so if I don't know what settings I need to have it on, all right, I can actually burn you. So that's why we tell you don't turn this stuff on people. Okay? Now, we'll certainly help you and guide you, but you can't do it yourself, not at this time. All right? How about the moving of an athlete with a possible serious injury from the play field to permit practice to continue? Now, I've told you this before, hadn't I? We went out there to go look at that guy, and the coach says, "Get him off the field." He had a broken leg. Yeah. Told you about my wife picked up a guy and said, "You're coming in with me." What are you doing? Being a whip? No, he's got his neck is bothering him. He actually had a broken neck. So that would certainly be negligent. And a lot of times, athletic trainer has to worry about not just whether we're being negligent, but whether everybody in the athletic department is trying to be negligent. And they're not trying to, but you know how sometimes it is. Sometimes you get those kids that want to play athletics that don't need to play athletics, and everything hurts, whether it hurts or not. And then there's those that they think are those kinds of kids, and so they try and push them. And so here's my rule of thumb. I don't know you or you or you or you or you. If you tell me something hurts, I'm going to have to take your word for it. So I'm not going to be negligent. Statutes of limitation. So I'm going right over here. I'm going to wad me up a big old fist. All right? And I'm going to punch him right in the nose. What have I just committed? A crime. What crime is that? No. That's not a crime. It goes with pepper. Assault. Yes. I have just committed assault. He's mad about it. All right. Well, I take off. He doesn't see me for 5 years. And then he comes up and says, "Oh, yeah, I remember you. Dun, 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 dun. Hello, police. Come on out. I see this guy who assaulted me," and leaves it at that. Hangs up. Police come out and they say, "Okay, tell me the story." "Well, that guy there punched me in the nose." "Your nose looks pretty good to me," said the policeman. He goes, "This guy here says, well, it was 5 years ago." All right? The cop's going to say, "No, you can't. That's too long." Okay? Now, if I went up and killed somebody, they can get me for murder forever, right? But maybe assault, no. Shoplifting, no, etc. So that is statute, and that's not those things made of bronze or whatnot. It's not statute. Statutes are your laws. And so what are the limitations of those laws? How long does it take? Let's say you get in a car wreck. All right? You got in a car wreck, and you've got 2 years to settle your car wreck. After 2 years, the insurance company of the other driver doesn't have to pay you anything. All right? So you've got to know what your statute of limitations. They set specific length of time that individuals may be sued for damages from negligence. And that length of time will vary from state to state. What? Yeah. All right. Assumption of risk. Okay, everybody raise your hand if you know that if you get in a car today, you might get in a car wreck and die. You don't know that? I said, raise your hand if everybody in here, raise your hand if you know today that if you get in a car, you might get in a car wreck and die. You don't know that? All right. Raise your hand if knowing that information, you don't care, but you're going to get in the car. What's the deal? It can kill you. Getting in a car can kill you. Huh? Really? Huh? Okay. So, whatever. So, here's the thing. you assume the risk of riding in the car, even though you know that. Well, assumption of risk is where the athlete understands the dangers associated with participating in a sport and participates voluntarily, knowing of the exposed dangers. The assumption of risk can be a defense for negligence, but the burden of proof will be on the defendant, showing that the risks were explained and understood. Since we said that, this old cat wants to make sure that even though I'm not a jailhouse or training room lawyer, if you go in here and read there's a helmet disclosure, okay, that tells you that helmets will not prevent concussions. They will not keep you from breaking your neck. They will not keep you from dying. Okay? Also, if you look on the inside in section 6, all right, it also says that participating in sports can be deathly. I know, but you know what? You signed that you read it here on the back.
Well, that's a lot of work.
Okay? Well, whose deal is that? It says there on the back, I have read each section, including number 6, full participation waiver. Oh, full participation waiver. Serious, catastrophic, and perhaps fatal injury may result from athletic participation. And it explains what can happen. So, assumption of risk can be used as a defense for someone being negligent. Kid put his head down. Boom. Broke his neck. Now he's dead. Anyway, Bruce trying to tackle somebody, and he sees it on TV where they stick their head down, and he wanted to be like Earl Campbell of 1978. All right, so he puts his head down, he breaks his neck, and now he is either dead or quadriplegic. And, dude, who are they going to do? They're going to blame it on somebody, right? Can't be this kid's fault. Poor thing's only 15, 16, 17 years old. That's what I'm saying. He should know the right way to tackle, and who is supposed to teach him that? But he didn't. All right. Let me tell you another true story. A friend of mine had somebody die on him at football. He's an athletic trainer. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, you're over here, stand up. You stand up, you come here. All right, you stand up. All right, so right over here. All right, so we're going to say that, boom, he hit his head, and now this ball is his head, and he has passed away. But it just happens to be, that's mom. She is very upset about her son dying. But it just so happens that here is Coach. Okay? Coach says, I have been teaching the correct way. So it can't be my fault. It must be the helmet's fault. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to hire a lawyer who is going now to sue them. All right? I need some more people. Come. So this person here says, no, it's not my fault. I'm hiring this lawyer to defend me.
All right, Abby.
And this one here says, it's not my client's fault that your client's son put his head down, because we teach him that all the time. Meanwhile, the athletic trainer's just sitting here watching it happen. All right? So, it must be who? The helmet's fault. Oh, here we go. This is the helmet company lawyer. So now you're not friends. You all are not friends. Okay? You're blaming the helmet, and they have a job to blame someone else. It's that trainer's fault, is what they say. The athletic trainer is supposed to have a delegation of authority. supposed to be under the direction of a team physician. Do you have that paper? Yep. Oh. Oh. Well, it's his fault because he didn't teach her how to tackle correctly. So this big argument goes. Meanwhile, this group is over here. She's on the stand. She's crying, right? They're putting pictures up of a young kid. All right. The rest of you, the jury, see all this. And of course, who are they getting? Are they getting guys or are they getting women on the jury?
Women.
Bunch of women. Why? To have the empathy for the mom who lost her son. So now what happens? All of this, okay, so you can sit down. How many football helmets are made to protect from concussions? 0. Not going to happen. How many, but this wasn't even a concussion. This was a broken neck. How many helmets are made to prevent from broken necks? None of them. What are they made for? What kind of protection? Lacerations, skull fractures. That's about it. Yeah. So why did she get sued? The helmet company. Why did the helmet company? What happened was the helmet company paid probably $1 million and a half dollars to this family. Why? Well, this time it was because the helmet company didn't warn them. Failure to warn. So, anyway, when you get back to it, assumption of risk. If you do anything, if you eat a pickle, can you choke? Exactly. But how many times do you ever hear about a pickle company getting sued because you were so hungry you couldn't chew a pickle? You know? You don't hear that, but you see this in athletics. Product liability. How about if I build a helmet made out of honeycomb? It's really flimsy stuff, you know, that bees live in. It's wax. How about if I build a football helmet made out of honeycomb? It's not going to do anything. You're going to get skull fractures. You're going to get lacerations. That manufacturer has a duty. The manufacturer has a duty to design and produce equipment that will not cause injury as long as it's used as it's intended. Okay? You have to wear it the way they say wear it. Example, football helmet and the warning sign. What is the football helmet designed to protect? Fractures and lacerations and cauliflower ear, etc. And so, what injury derives the most lawsuits from football helmet manufacturers? Nope, not concussion. Neck break. Yeah, a fractured neck. I know this. Now you know this. Okay? And unfortunately, the thing about that, though, is that the public doesn't know that. And see that juror right there? She was crying when she saw the pictures. And they're going to go for a jury trial. Why does the helmet manufacturer settle? They go ahead and say, we'll give you $1 million. And she finally goes, all right. Because if she's going to make up her mind how much that helmet manufacturer is going to pay, it'll be $20 million. Football helmets run in the neighborhood of $200, $250 a piece to buy. A piece to buy. It's made out of plastic. It's probably got $40 worth of actual cost in it at the most. The other $160, 10%, probably $20 per helmet is probably profit. The other pays for that insurance and that lawyer. All right, tomorrow, Monday. Anybody ever hear about the old lady that sued McDonald's for burning herself? Yeah, what do you know about it? Is that what happened? Okay. Anybody else got an opinion on this? She spilled it on herself, and so that's sort of like the football helmet. That she dropped the coffee is what you're saying. I'm just trying to clarify what you guys understand. She dropped the coffee, and that it was a frivolous lawsuit and she should never have sued. Is that right, or is that wrong?
Well, they should have told her caught. But okay, we're gonna be talking, yes, and then there's a label on the cup that says caught and on the lid.
Okay. Remember what you guys are saying, what side you want to pick, okay? And then also, let's go back to here. You have a duty to design a product that will not harm as long as it's used as intended. You got that? What if I told you that coffee was nearly 200 degrees Fahrenheit? What if I told you that that was probably the 1,500th person who had burned themselves with third-degree burns from McDonald's coffee? But I didn't tell you that. I said, what if? Okay. Here's the whole thing about it. I want you to think about it, and when we come back Monday, I want to know whether that person did a frivolous lawsuit, or that you stand with McDonald's, or that it was a decent, fair lawsuit and you stand with Stella. That was her name, is Stella. Yes. Legit. Because on Monday, I will show you, not the picture, I will show you the whole story.
I like the video.
Yep.
I have to look it up. Hey,
All right, legal concerns and insurance requirements. Okay? Legal. To obtain insurance. Now, we've heard about insurance before. There's health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, house insurance. What are you doing? Are you betting on you, or are you betting against you when you buy insurance? You're betting against you. When you buy insurance, you're betting that you're going to either be sued, and so you buy liability insurance, that you're going to be injured, so you buy health or accident insurance, or that you're going to be dead, so you buy life insurance. You're not betting on you. You're betting on everything else. You're not saying, yeah, I'm going to live to the ripe old age where I use all my money and I don't need any more money, you don't even to bury me. You're not saying that. You're saying, I'm going to die young. You're not saying that I'm a really good driver by buying car insurance. You're not saying that my house is super safe and I've thought of absolutely everything and that this house will never burn, flood, etc. when you buy house insurance. But the thing about it is besides life insurance, you have to buy the others because you borrow money on it. So the insurance company is betting that you will not be sued, that you actually will live, and that you will not be injured. Better to bet that you will be on the short end of the stick. All right. So here's my insurance deal. I got 2 cars insured. Cost me $200 a month. That's $2,400 every year out of after-tax money that goes to pay just to cover the cars. You should see how much it is for the house insurance. All right? But if I don't have that insurance on there, those cars and both of those cars, let's say we wreck each other and total them. The bank still owns them because I'm paying my car note. The bank's going to want their money then because there's no more asset. So I don't have $50,000 to pay off that other deal. So do I want to pay $200 a month? Or do I want to pay and risk it and have to pay $50,000 all at once? Yeah, it's because it's going to take a while to get up. If it's going to be 25 years or 20 years before you get $50,000 in the bank. So general health insurance. When you go to the doctor, you got general health insurance, and that is a policy that covers for illness, hospitalization, and emergency care. Got it? Secondary insurance coverage is what most high schools have. Some of them don't, but most of them do. It's a secondary policy for accident. Okay? Coverage used by most high schools and collegiate programs to cover the bills that are not paid for by the general health insurance, your own policy. So if you're an athlete and you get hurt, you know all about this, I'm sure. Her insurance is first. Okay? So let's say she's got Acme insurance. Okay? So Acme insurance pays 80%, and then you've got to pay 20% of the bill. You get a bill after surgery for $10,000. You owe the hospital $2,000. But if it happened at school, the second insurance will then pay 80/20 of that. So now you only, instead of $2,000, you just got surgery and your only out of pocket is then $400. See how that works? Not won't pay all of it, because, and the school doesn't have to pay for it because of assumption of risk. You assume the risk that you're going to get hurt. Okay, that's the way some schools look at it. You assume the risk. So your family health insurance, which probably about 80% of our students have, is covered by a family insurance plan. One of your parents gets it at work, and there are actually people in this world. Okay, there's the breadwinner, be the breadwinner. That might be dad, might be mom. The other one works and makes so little money that when they pay for their health insurance for the family, they actually get little to nothing to take home and put into the family kitty. But the family insurance plan is where the family has, and they're covered for their planned parent from work. Here's your common terminology. All right, an allowable charge. That's just that. So he goes to the doctor, right? Because, let's see, how can I put it? An allowable charge. Secondary health insurance policy. The one we have at school, it's an accident policy. You have to have an accident, right? So let's say that she actually ended up getting staph and needed surgery to clean out staph. Her primary insurance will pay for it. But was it an accident? No. It's staph. It's an infection. She didn't get hit. She didn't fall down. She got a spot on her arm that got really bad. So the secondary policy is not going to pay for that. That's not an allowable charge. Women, you need to be very careful when you buy health insurance. Okay? If you got health insurance, you need to make sure there is a maternity plan on it. If you don't have a maternity plan and you end up with child, that insurance will not pay for it because you're not paying the premium for it. Okay? So it's really important that you read everything that's what's allowable and what's not allowable. So a beneficiary, and let's talk about health insurance. Here's dad. He buys the insurance, and who gets the benefits? It'll be dad, mom, and Manny, Mo, and Jack. So is Manny, is he a beneficiary? Yes. What about Jack? Yes. What about dad? They all are beneficiaries. They are ones that can receive benefits from an insurance policy. So you always hear about beneficiary with life insurance. So life insurance is that when you die, the insurance company pays whatever your policy's worth to whom? Whoever I give it to, whoever I assign as the beneficiary. Yes. It's good to be a beneficiary as opposed to a policyholder. The policyholder has to die. The beneficiary gets the money. Yeah. Not necessarily. That can be a really bad deal, and we're not even going to get into that because that's not even us. That's probate court. All right. So benefits. What are benefits? You get an explanation of them every time you go. Benefits are, hey, what's this pay for? There's her health insurance. Does it pay for accidents? Yes, that's a benefit. Okay. Here is our accident insurance policy. Does it pay for an ACL? Yes, it does. It's a benefit. Does it pay for the common cold? No, it didn't pay for the common cold. So it's not a benefit. So you need to know what your benefits are. A claim is a piece of paper or an electronic type deal, submission, saying that she went to the doctor. and it tells them exactly what went on. So do you think your insurance company knows, just like telekinetically, it's like, hey, you went to the doctor today? No, somebody's got to get in touch with them somehow. So we fill out claim forms. We gave you a claim form, didn't we? Yeah, and it says, so she took that, and then they send it in. That way the insurance company knows how to process your claim. You are claiming benefit of allowable charges for a beneficiary. You see how they all work? Good. What's a deductible? So talk about deductible and premium. What's your premium? Premium's your bill. So I told you I pay $200 a month, right, for car insurance. Got it? All right. So I pay those $200 every month, and if I don't pay that, they quit covering my cars, don't they? So if I have a wreck, then tough cookies, they're not going to pay. That's my premium, a bill. When you get a bill from the insurance company, that's your premium. What's my deductible is that I went ahead and I did get in a wreck, and now it's totaled. The car is totaled, and now there's a $50,000 bill to be paid. Well, the insurance company says the first $1,000 that comes out to pay for the car comes out of your pocket. And until that deductible is paid, they don't start paying theirs. So deductibles are there for two reasons. If for health insurance, your deductible is there to discourage you from going to the doctor, actually. All right? And it also is there to try and keep the price down. Because if I go and take my car in every time I get a scratch from the grocery cart over at Walmart, I'm going to be in there all the time, and they're constantly going to be having claims and paying out. But if they know those little bitty things like that, if we can knock those off, we save $1,400,000 or whatever, then that's money they save to pay for the bigger things. So your deductible is there to help keep your prices down. Exclusions. All right. Got to worry about exclusions because that's exactly what it is. So you are covered for everything except for nose rings. Well, if you go get a nose ring and it gets infected and you get a great big hole in your nose that never grows back from that flesh-eating bacteria, do you think that the insurance company is going to pay for that? Absolutely not, because it's excluded. And then your explanation of benefits, which explains what? Your benefits. Exactly. So in the high school, you're going to see accident insurance, you're going to see professional liability insurance, and you're going to see catastrophic insurance. Professional liability insurance is something that she and I have. We pay $200 a year, and if we screw up for some reason and we go ahead and burn somebody with the ultrasound like we talked about before because I was negligent, and now I'm liable for those damages, that insurance company there, that professional liability insurance, will come to my defense and pay off my bill. One, did you sign something that had an assumption of risk? And two, yeah, if they burn you, sort of like McDonald's and Stella, you need to really look this up. But yeah, then they should have professional liability insurance to cover it. Accident policy and accident insurance policy is what we have here. If you just give me this last minute, we'd probably be done with this chapter. The accident insurance policy covers all those claims that are accidents up to $25,000. But as one kid did, where he had a trap door fall on his foot during UIL, whatever that is, it's play stuff, to where his foot was totally crushed all of his bones, and his bills were in the neighborhood of $250,000. That's where catastrophic insurance comes in. If it gets past $25,000, then you use catastrophic.
Bye, Mr. Davis. Have a nice weekend.
All right, be ready for your movie on Monday.